What is the difference between a junior stocks and shares ISA and a junior cash ISA? Okay, so we're talking here about JISAs, junior individual savings accounts, where you can save up to £9,000 per annum for each of your kids, grandkids, or anyone under the age of 18. That's in comparison to your own ISA allowance as an adult, which is £20,000 per annum. Okay, it's exactly the same as adult ISAs. A junior stocks and shares ISA allows you to invest in the equity markets, such as, for example, funds, BlackRock, Vanguard, iShares, etc., or individual equities if you really wanted to. A junior cash ISA is exactly what it says, the same as an adult. It's a fixed rate of return, typically from your high street bank who is offering that junior ISA. Now, if you ask me, which is the best for me? Well, first of all, you have to go through a financial planning advice process. You can do that by heading to the description section below, find a day and a time via our calendar link, which is suitable for you, attach as much information as you can to make sure that first 1 hour free meeting is as valuable for you as possible. Now, generally speaking, I would say you have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old, they physically cannot access that junior ISA until they are 18. Now, many people may continue to have that capital invested after they're 18. Maybe they'll let it continue to compound. Maybe they'll add contributions to it towards their first home, whatever it might be. In my personal opinion, having a cash ISA, which is offering you circa 4 or 5% at the moment, because of the base rate in the UK is 5.25%, in compared to a stocks and shares ISA, where equity markets are typically grown on average towards 10% per annum for an equity weighted portfolio, you have to say that the stocks and shares ISA potentially has far more ability to grow over the course of those 17, 15, 14 years, whatever it might be. You have a very long time period before your child reaches the age of 18. So again, it all comes down to preference though. But you almost have to think with a JISA, it's not really about your risk profile anymore. You need to be thinking of the risk profile of your child. You might be 60, just retired, worked very hard all your life and thinking, okay, I want to play it safe. I want to have a balanced portfolio of circa 60, 65% equity weighted, something like that. With a child who literally is going to live, hopefully for decades and decades, really you should be thinking, what is their risk profile? What is their appetite for risk? What is their capacity for loss? Well, as a child, they almost have 100% capacity for loss, because I would have thought you pay for most things for them. If their JISA goes down in value, it almost doesn't matter in the short term because they can't touch it until they're age 18. Again, all of this needs to go through a financial planning advice process, and what I'm saying here is not advice, but it just gives you an idea of my mindset and my personal opinion when you're investing in JISAs for children. Now, when it compares the two of them as well, it's often the same exact provider. So here at Cameron James, one of the key providers we work with in the UK is AJ Bell. They have a JISA stocks and shares, and inside that you can obviously invest the capital in line with the equity markets to try to have growth which would outweigh a cash ISA, a cash JISA, I should say. You also have to remember, a lot of people at the moment are like, oh wow, I'm getting 5% on my ISA or JISA. This is brilliant news. It's the best growth rate ever. Yeah, it's better when they were giving 1%, but why are they now giving 5%? Because inflation has gone through the roof and the Bank of England has taken the base rate to 5.25% in the UK. So when the base rate is at 5.25% in the UK, this is not a good thing. This means that inflation is typically out of control and people are raising interest rates to get people to slow down spending to start saving more of their money. That's how economics works. So you've got to be very, very careful. People be thinking, oh, 5% now, this is fantastic. But if inflation is running at circa 10% per annum, you're actually guaranteeing to lose your kids 5% spending power of the money that you are investing for them. If you compare that to, say, stocks and shares ISA, where if we take an annualized return of 10% per annum over the course of a very long period of time in the equity markets, past performance, no guide to future performance, actually, at least that money would be keeping parity with the current levels of inflation in the UK. And actually, when the current levels of inflation in the UK come down to the goal of the UK, which is 2%, I don't know how close they actually get to 2%, even when they fudge the figures a little bit, so to speak, you've really got to think to yourself that that growth that you're having inside the stocks and shares ISA can actually far outstrip inflation when inflation times are not as high as they are now in the UK and across Europe. Let me know any comments or any questions you have on junior stocks and shares ISAs or junior cash ISAs. More than happy for you to also WhatsApp me in the description section below to have a very informal chat before you move ahead to have a formal meeting with one of our financial advisors. And as always, take care with UK assets.